snowy, rainy morning. I'm Ian Wendt. That's John Roberts. Morning, John.
Good morning, Ian.
It's been a couple weeks since I've been physically in the cave. It's nice to be back.
Yeah, it's good to see you across the board from me and not having to do all the dials and buttons and levers and all that good stuff.
There's levers for this stuff.
Well, whatever you call them.
Well, it's a busy show. We have a very cheesy, corny radio TV style end of the year extravaganza. It's our top 20 moments or plays of our 2020 season. We'll break those down here shortly, and also our NFL top 16. And John, it happened. What I said would happen right before we went on the air, it happened.
It did happen.
I had some new swag for Inside the Cave, a new addition to the wall, and I didn't have an extra tack. It's a 1990 Detroit Pistons World Championship pennant that my grandfather gave me to put in the cave. I set it up on one of the jerseys here on the wall, and it fell down. It didn't make it 2 minutes. I'll have to put that up during the break. But regardless, it should be a fun show. When we're giving our top 10 moments, you can be sure to call in your moments if you have any. 517-265-4000. Tweet at us. Facebook message us. We'll get the word out at 965 The Cave. Let's get to the sports update.
Now for an Inside the Cave sports update.
Adrian College men's hockey team, they're coming off some losses, but all two Division I opponents, and both of those teams are ranked. Adrian College coach Adam Krug reminds us they played Lake Superior State, currently a top 20 D1 team. The Bulldogs represented themselves very well. They did play the Lakers tough in that loss, and that's where we will pick up Thursday, running down what's ahead early next semester for the AC men's hockey team, a team that has 20 players dressed for each game, and 9 of them are freshmen who get some quality minutes each game. We're actually going to talk to Bulldog head coach Adam Krug the last half hour of the show. Stephen Curry, he scored 31 points to lift the Golden State Warriors to a 116-106 win over the winless Detroit Pistons. The injury-plagued Warriors have won 2 straight after dropping their first 2 by a combined 65 points. Jeremy Grant led the 0-4 Pistons with 27 points. I was trying to find that game on my TV to watch last night. Couldn't do it. Wasn't too upset, to be honest. Mid-American Conference basketball. Trayvon Broadway Jr. tied his career high with 21 points. Central Michigan, they beat Eastern Michigan. There you go, John. 87-60. Ty Grossi led the Eagles with 15 points and 13 boards. Bowl games today. Wake Forest and Wisconsin. They meet for the first time ever in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Wednesday in Charlotte, North Carolina. Both teams come in with 500 records, looking to finish their season on the winning side. Wake Forest quarterback Sam Hartman has been efficient this season, completing 58.1% of his passes for 1,906 yards, 10 touchdowns, and just 1 interception.
I like Duke's mayonnaise.
That's going to be a drop. That's a drop. That's in the...
Yeah, that might be that's my second one, I think.
I like Duke's mayonnaise. Okay. Cowboys got a bowl win. That's Oklahoma State ending the season on the positive side. Spencer Sanders threw for 4 scores. The Cowboys won the Cheez-It Bowl.
I like Cheez-Its.
By building a 3-touchdown lead before downing number 18 Miami, 37-34. I have to agree with you with Cheez-Its.
That was a good game, actually. I don't know if you watched any of it.
I watched most of Texas clobbering Colorado.
Yeah.
I just missed that game. I turned on the TV a little bit too late last night.
Yeah.
The Associated Press, they've honored one of this year's Heisman finalists. Alabama's Devontae Smith is the AP College Football Player of the Year. He's the first wide receiver to win the award since it was established in 1998. He received 26 first-place votes and 114 points to finish ahead of his teammate and quarterback Mac Jones. Baseball is starting to sneak its way back onto the sports scene, and today began in a big way. Yesterday, I should say, the San Diego Padres pulled off a blockbuster deal for a starting pitcher on Tuesday while finalizing another. The Padres got Cubs ace Yu Darvish, catcher Victor Caratini, and cash. Nice, give me some cash. Sending right-hander Zach Davies and 4 young minor leaguers to Chicago. The 34-year-old Darvish is 8-3 with a 2.01 ERA and 12 starts for Chicago. What?
How much cash do you think Julie could get for us?
I wouldn't
She
put that
traded
out
us.
there.
No, I was going to say
No,
that's probably not a good.
There might be an offer. And,
Ignore that question.
yep.
Can we strike that from the record?
Yes, we will.
Okay.
Strike that from the record. The deal broke after Padres finalized their acquisition of ace left-hander Blake Snell from the Rays. Wow. Tampa Bay will receive right-handers Luis Patino and Cole Wilcox and catchers Francisco Maija and Blake Hunt for the 2018 AL Cy Young Award winner. Snell was 4-1 this season. Wow, blockbuster deals for the Padres.
Building a pitching staff
They're
there.
selling out is what they're doing. So, if you're like the Lions, Giants, or Texans, you're just looking to finish 5-11 or 4-12, and a member of the media asked you, as a player, what motivates you to even play the game? Well, you may have heard Houston Texan Pro Bowl defensive end J.J. Watt lit it up in a recent news conference, just telling it like it is. And finally, Big Ben, he will sit out the finale against the Browns as Pittsburgh has clinched the AFC North. Cleveland fighting for their playoff lives. Mason Rudolph will get the start for Pittsburgh. When I saw that news, I'm sure I'm not the only one to have a flashback.
Yeah, I was
if
going
you
to
will.
say, how many times will that highlight be shown this week, do you think?
No less than a lot. I mean, poor Mason.
Yeah.
Poor Mason.
I don't think we'll see a redo of that.
No.
Too much to play for both teams, really. So
Yeah, and I felt bad when they announced that. I felt bad for Villanueva, Pittsburgh's left tackle, because
Yeah.
he's the line of defense between Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph. So good luck to him for that. But that's it for the sports update for today. We'll do another one at 8 o'clock. So we're going first to, we're going to start with the best, right?
we did say that this year, and I looked over your list and I looked over I have 4 different or 3 different or slightly different ones than you. So
I mean, do you want to add them or eliminate
yeah,
ones? I mean,
we'll just add them
okay.
because we talked about having somewhere between 10 and 20. So
We're talking sports moments or plays
yeah.
of the 2020 calendar year. I mean, we're going back to the end of basketball season. We're going back to hockey season. We're going back to the cross country season
Yeah.
and track and all these
Yeah.
different things, and volleyball, swimming. I think we got a pretty good array of things that we can talk about for the top moments of the year. Do you want to do, we'll start with 10, and then or do you want to throw in the honorable mentions first?
Well, when I looked at both of our lists, I just found another one that I had that was different from yours. Some of mine are would be part of one of the ones you came up with, so
Okay, I mean, we can lump them in together.
yeah.
That'll work just fine.
We'll
So
kind of
since-
do it just like we do our top 16, maybe not necessarily in an order. Because, you know what, I don't know that when we talked, we didn't really say one is necessarily more important than the other.
Oh,
Probably more.
I ranked them.
You did, okay.
Yeah.
I did not necessarily rank mine. I just had a bunch listed.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So,
I put myself
okay.
out there and I ranked them. What I
Oh,
thought
so
was
you went top 10.
the best.
You
And,
didn't
yeah.
just like the most memorable 10.
Right, and that way people can comment on it and say,
A little
you know,
debate.
yeah, that should
Okay.
be 3, that should be number 1. What are you
Okay.
doing? That type of thing. It just gives people another way to criticize me, which, you know, whatever you can do. That's part of our job. Is, you know, we have opinions,
You
and
can
then you
agree
can
or
have the
disagree.
opposite opinion.
Right.
That's totally fine.
Right. It's America.
Yeah, just another opportunity to do that. Since I gave you my paper,
Yes.
I have no idea. Well, actually, I can pull it up on mine.
Okay.
On my.
You tell me when you're ready.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can get this thing started. I'm sure people are sitting at the edge of their seat. They're clenching their steering wheel a little bit tighter. Guys,
Keep-
what's the
hopefully
number
they
10?
keep their eyes on the road because it's a little slippery out there. So
It is.
I'll start with the one you had at number 10, and that is Hudson Volleyball's Hallie Bauer. Outstanding season for Hudson, and Maya Hiram for Onstead. So two pretty top-notch volleyball players from Lenawee County
Yeah, and
this
in
past fall.
my reasoning for that, of course, you know, winning the Player of the Year and getting all these conference accolades for those two is Lenawee County had a pretty solid volleyball season. I know they didn't go quite as far as they wanted to. I know Onstead was upset a little early, and Hudson made it a round or two further. But man, those two were just filling up that stat sheet every time we would read a recap of the volleyball scores for Lenawee County. So just an overall body of work for those two ladies. I thought it was outstanding. Certainly a lot of talent for Lenawee County volleyball players, and I felt they should be represented on the list.
All right. I had one that I'm going to throw in here because it probably fits. Austin Davis, named one of the men's basketball captains at U of M. So
That certainly is a moment.
yeah, so
It's-
I thought that was a pretty good little reward for him and Lenawee County. I mean, when was the last time a Lenawee County athlete was a captain at either Michigan or Michigan State? I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah, you're opening the vault of
Yeah,
what's happened
I don't
in
know if
sports
someone like
history here.
at a Division I school. I mean, I thought that was pretty.
It is, and a guy that, you know, Juwan Howard, their coach, talks highly of. A guy that all the U of M media likes, and people around the program appreciate Austin's work ethic and
Yeah,
what he brings to the team. And, you know, he's got a little offensive side to him. You know, he went on a crazy run last year, was it, where he was making like
yeah,
90% of his shots.
yeah.
And to get that captaincy is certainly a memorable moment from 2020.
And now we just hope he gets back from his injury quick.
That's right. Speedy recovery. I got it pulled up here so I can read
Okay.
off my number 9
Perfect.
moment in sports in 2020 for Lenawee County. Sue Siljebeck, the women's basketball coach at Siena Heights, replacing Hall of Famer Fred Smith as Siena Heights University AD. They made the announcement prior to 2020, I believe, and they just made it official.
Official.
Yes, and
Yeah. I'd forgotten that one off my list, and probably for that reason that it was
she was
kind of
interim
known.
for a while.
That, yeah. So,
And it, you know, just became official.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Fred Smith still hanging out at Siena Heights. He's a big part of this show too.
Yes.
Not this show in particular, but the Cave in the Monday evening Saints Sports Weekly program. He's a regular on there, getting
Yes.
lots of guests, and just a vast array of knowledge for Siena Heights and passion and dedication to build Siena Heights, and for the torch to be passed to Sue Siljebeck was a monumental moment for Siena Heights here in Adrian. So certainly a
question.
moment on my list.
Yep, no question. I debated about whether this one, if I would have done that, it's one of the reasons I didn't do kind of a top 10. Just the fact that we had no spring sports for high school or the local colleges. I mean, it was, here we were in the infancy of our radio station, and we had nothing local really to talk about. I mean, and that was a challenge for us as a radio station. So
So that was a moment that wasn't
yeah,
for spring sports,
Yeah.
and we had several area, to be specific, baseball teams
Mm-hmm.
that we thought would do really well, and softball
Yeah.
certainly.
Some track athletes that we thought would do pretty well. I mean, I think of Blissfield baseball for sure. I think had their eyes set on making a nice run for a state championship. Deanna Marr from Adrian was a defending two-time state champion, and her junior year of track season got wiped out. So
Yeah, and it was just like that. We were in
Yeah.
the middle of basketball playoffs.
yeah,
And all right, that's done. And then it seemed like the next day, spring sports are done.
yeah.
And that's
I mean,
like,
it
and we're
was,
sitting there as a show going,
What do we talk about now?
yeah, everything is gone. I remember
I mean,
having Mike Duffy from Adrian College come
Yeah.
in. He's like, yep, everything is canceled, and
Yeah.
we're working through it. And it was
Yeah.
like, whoa, is this
I-
really happening to us?
Yeah.
Of course, we start a sports station, and all the luck turns against us in March. But yeah, a big moment that wasn't for Lenawee County.
And same thing. I remember talking with Kyle Johnson, the baseball coach at Adrian High, and it was like, yeah, we 3 days of practice or 4 days of practice, whatever it was, and boom, we're done.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things we really hope those kids and the college kids too get their seasons this year. I think they will. Might look slightly different, but I think they'll get them. So
Yes, certainly trending in that direction. We'll get to, let's see, number 8 on my list for top 10 sports moments, plays in Lenawee County in 2020. Number 8, I combined a couple, but same topic. Crazy Boys Hoops playoff games. So take yourself back to March. District finals for the boys. The girls were in the regional at this time. Blissfield Royals were set for a rematch against Erie Mason in a district final. I believe Erie beat them earlier in the season by like 4 points. Lydell for Erie Mason, putting up a ton of points for them, and Blissfield was getting ready to take on them. Didn't have the opportunity. And also Adrian upsets Chelsea in the playoffs 52-51. John was on the call for that one. Not sure if that was on the Cave or on WLEN, but it was a crazy time for boys hoops.
I don't remember.
And that was I think it was a buzzer beater moment.
It was
for Adrian. It was certainly close to the buzzer,
yeah.
if not beating it. But man, we were set up, and Adrian was going to play for a district title. This team was 10-10 on the season. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, they're better than last year, or about the same. Okay, they won a couple games and they upset Chelsea, a team that took Amani Bates and Ypsilanti Lincoln to double overtime.
Right.
And then Adrian beats them in the playoffs. For Maple fans and for us, me in particular, that was a huge moment in sports, and one that we didn't get to see the conclusion of, as I think it was a Friday, like they do the Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Right.
I think Friday morning they canceled everything.
Right. Yeah.
At that time.
Yep, and they were all set to play Columbia Central in the district finals there at Onstead. I did have that one on my list, and then I kind of added a third team, and that was LCS girls were getting ready to play in the regional finals. So trying to win their third straight state championship, and they didn't get to make that run.
Gosh,
They
you're
made it
talking-
as far as the regional finals, and then the season was shut down. So
And they dealt with an injury too.
yeah, Bree Salenbein
Yeah.
had hurt her
Bree got
knee.
hurt, and it was like,
Can't remember if it was the district final or the first game of regionals. I that escapes me. I can't remember for sure.
and yeah, they were dealing with that, but I
Yeah.
mean, Lenawee Christian just plowing through the competition, and
Yeah.
they were certainly on their way. And another sports moment that wasn't for
Yep.
2020.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of our stuff on our list is things that didn't happen.
Yes, we are working our way through our top sports moments, plays in Lenawee County for 2020, as we are winding down this calendar year here inside the Cave. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back. Inside the Cave, 96.5 FM, 965thecave.com. Today we're on YouTube, Lenawee Broadcasting Company on YouTube. The link has been shared on Twitter and Facebook, so go ahead and find that, and you can bring yourself inside the cave. I'm Ian Wentz, John Roberts here as well in the studio, switching roles. I'm pushing the buttons and switching the levers. Thanks, John, for doing that the last couple of weeks. As I was doing the show, I'll tell you, from my parents' basement, the wonders of technology, right?
It is something.
It sure is. But great show. Glad to have everyone with us. We're back. It's a cold and rainy day, I know, but there is snow on the ground, so I guess that's good for some. And even more cool than that is we're breaking down our top moments and plays in sports in Lenawee County for the year that was 2020. I did rank them. Now, did I miss a couple? Sure. Could you argue where they should line up? Fine, you can do that. But I like doing lists. That's kind of what we do on Wednesday. So number 10, I have Hallie Bauer and Maya Hiram for Hudson and Onstead, respectively, having outstanding volleyball seasons. Number 9, Sue Silgerbeck replacing Hall of Famer Fred Smith as Siena Heights University Athletic Director. And number 8, a Crazy Boys Hoops playoff. Blissfield was ready to play Erie Mason in the district final, and Adrian upset Chelsea in the first round, 52-51.
And the ones that I added to that list, a little different from yours, no spring sports for high school or the local colleges. Austin Davis named captain for the basketball team at the University of Michigan. And LCS girls basketball was playing, kind of along with your boys that were in the district finals. They were in the regional finals when the season ended last year, trying to win their third straight state championship.
And that's where I'm going to pick up with my number 7 sports moment in Lenawee County for 2020. Sticking with Lenawee Christian, Bree Soundbine, arguably the best basketball player to come out of Lenawee County. She officially signed to play basketball at Gonzaga University. Huge deal, big time accomplishment for her and the family to pursue basketball at the Division I level. We wish her all the best when she does go out west and play for the Zags. That's just a moment that we kind of knew that she verbally committed to Gonzaga, but to make it official was really cool and a highlight for me for 2020.
Yeah, no question. I got one at this spot. I guess I'll call it a spot. Maybe a little self-promoting, but we celebrated just a couple weeks ago our 1-year anniversary of being on the air as all sports station here in Lenawee County.
Yep, and we played the audio of
the first show. Yeah.
Like the first thing we ever said inside the cave, and that was super cool.
Yeah.
And this year to have everyone socially distanced but on the air to make it happen. Pat and John calling in, John across the way, and Jeff 6 feet away from him in studio. So, yeah, certainly a big moment for, I think Lenawee County sports. Coaches, teams will look back on that and say, it really helped our program for all that we do.
Yeah.
Just talking about the schools and the kids and all that stuff.
And we hope, of course, that it's just the first step in becoming a big promoter of sports in this area, both at the high school and college level, as well as bringing our listeners, professional sports such as the Lions and Michigan State football and basketball. So, we'll hope to do more of that going forward.
Yeah, certainly a highlight for 2020. Number 5 on my list, I go to the college ranks. I sort of encompassed Adrian College hockey into one because there were a couple moments I could have split up. But Adrian College men and women, they both won the NCHA championships back in March, earning the automatic bid from the conference to the NCAA tournament. Adrian was set to play a first-round game for the men and women, canceled the season. Actually, Coach Skelly was on their way to Elmira New York, and they had to turn around
Yeah.
and come back. But certainly huge moments to win those at the Arrington. The last game I called before the pandemic really hit. Another thing I'm going to wrap into this is the men's team hosted Bowling Green State University as the first Division I team to visit the Arrington here in Adrian. They've played D1 teams before, but they were on the road. So the BGSU Falcons came to Arrington and battled the Bulldogs in a moment in AC history and Lenawee County history for a D1 team to come down to Adrian and play a game.
Yeah, that's probably not happened in a long time. I mean, maybe back in the old days when, like, you know, college athletics was a lot smaller. Maybe one of those schools came here and played. But certainly in our time here and in most people that would be listening, their time here.
So that was for me at number 5.
Okay.
I know you didn't rank yours, but
I didn't. I do have one on my list. I think you skipped over your number 6.
Oh, whoops.
So I
Sorry.
had that one also. So Sand Creek winning the district title in football on the last play of the game against Addison. So,
Yeah, that was my 6.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
I got your 6.
okay. Good.
Yes, look at that.
It was on your list though too.
It was, yes, and we've got another high school football ending on our list as well.
Yeah, you don't get walk-off touchdowns that often.
Not very often.
I mean, this was like 4th and goal, last play,
Season on the line.
mano,
Right.
let's line it up and go. That was Sand Creek's mantra all year. It's like, even if we're down, which they were not losing a lot this year, we're going to run the football. We're going to use Will Alexander and all these running backs and their big, strong offensive line. And Addison was undefeated,
Yeah.
playing at home. Just an awesome matchup between those two teams. And for it to end the way it did was awesome. It really was.
And Sand Creek is still alive whenever we play again. I mean,
Next year.
well, yeah, it will be next year, won't
Yeah.
it? You know, that's the funny thing. Will they be listed as the 21 state champs or the 20 state champs? Probably the 20 state champs,
Yeah, I
since
think
most
so.
of their season was in
Yeah.
20.
You want me to go?
Sure.
Again, or you got?
Sure.
I mean, I'm down to 4. Do you have more than 4 that are unique?
I have a cross country one actually.
Okay. Let's go with that one next.
Okay. Aiden Smith and Caitlin Nate lead Adrian High and Tecumseh High, Adrian High boys, Tecumseh High girls to the state meet, and both of them had really good cross country seasons this year. So I had that one. Wanted to
Yeah,
make sure
shout
we
out
did a little
to
cross country in there. So
And that was a season that was able to be completed.
yes, yeah, one of the ones in fall sports that was finished. So
And number 4, I'm going to go back to the gridiron. Another walk-off win for Clinton. They kick a field goal with seconds remaining to beat previously unbeaten Blissfield for the district title. And, you know, if you were on the social media, Twitter or Facebook, you saw that kick probably hundreds of times. If you're a
Yeah.
Clinton fan, if we're being honest.
yeah,
You know, a team that a lot of people maybe counted out, or, you know, maybe next year it'll be the year, but Clinton, a team that's like Sand Creek in it still,
Yeah.
and that's due to the big time field goal kicked to send them to the regional action in football.
I think Jeff had that game on the Cave, if I remember.
He did.
correctly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I didn't mention. I had mine at different spots in the list, but I have the last 3 that you have. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they were in different places for me. So, but
Okay. Well, I'll rank them so then people
yeah,
can discuss
yeah,
and say,
right.
well, how was
Let's
this
stay
not
with
one?
your ranking since you ranked them and I didn't. I just listed them.
Okay, number 3. I mean, I think you could, depending where you live, I guess in Lenawee
Sure.
County, you could, you know, say,
Yeah,
well, this
these
was
are all
best, or-
subjective, and
Yeah.
you know, obviously, if it's your school, it's more important to you than other schools. I
Right.
get it. We get it.
Number 3, Taz Wallace returns as coach for Madison football and leads them to the school's first ever playoff win. They open up a new stadium. The season begins with uncertainty because he walks away. And then, we're going to play football now? I'll come back and coach you guys. Team pulls off a bunch of wins in a row. They win their first playoff game and compete in their second. But that is one of, for me, number 3, the biggest moment in Lenawee County sports for 2020.
Yeah, no question, a big win for the Trojan program. I had the opportunity to coach with Coach Wallace when we were both at Adrian, and couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Number 2, now we're getting into the champs. Clinton Wrestling. They win a state title versus Hudson in their class, and they just get it done. A model of consistency in Lenawee County is wrestling, and those two programs, they were 1 and 2 in the state for a reason, and Clinton got that win. Huge for the county to bring home some hardware, and in a sport that's prolific in Lenawee.
I know Jeff Bowman and I have talked a lot of wrestling over the years, and we would match Lenawee County high school wrestling against any county in the state, and those two programs right there, along with Tecumseh, probably lead the way for wrestling in this county. And there's a lot of good individual wrestlers from the various schools around the county, but as teams, those are right now probably the top 3. And Clinton finally getting over that hump of beating Hudson after all the years of that's who they would run up against in the state tournament. And Clinton finally got it done, and I'm sure that'll be a hotly contested match this year when Clinton and Hudson match up on the mats.
And now for me, my top moment in Lenawee County sports for 2020. It's another state champ, the first one ever for Lenawee Christian boys soccer. They win the state championship and just complete a magical run for their fall season. They get the job done, and another one of those moments similar to the Clinton kick. You watch the reaction of the bench on social media, and it's just relief and awe and just accomplishment, and it just all came together, and it was wrapped up in a really cool moment. I think the first soccer title for the county.
Right, yeah.
For Lenawee Christian and for the entire county.
any school,
yeah.
and boys or girls. So and the way they won it, that late goal. I mean, we're talking. I think it was within the last 20 seconds of the game they scored to win it, and it's like hitting a buzzer beater in any other sport, or hitting that walk-off home run. I mean, you basically score at the end of the game to win a state championship for your school. So, I like that at number 1. I had it on my list. And, just for the dramatic fashion of it, I think the 1 and 2, probably a lot of people will debate which one was, and again, that goes back to probably where you live in the county. But the drama of winning that title in the closing seconds.
I mean, that's stuff you write a movie script about.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So,
and for
a storybook ending for
that's
the
right.
LCS Cougars boys soccer team.
That's right. And for a school to have a couple moments on this list, you have Clinton and Lenawee Christian. When I had the opportunity to call their 8-man player football regional final a few weeks ago now, and it was like, okay, the boys soccer team was in it still and going through the playoffs, and so was the football team at the same time.
Right.
And they were just both excelling, and for the boys soccer team to get it done, now football has a chance to once they restart. But yeah, that's my top sports moment of 2020. Debate it until the cows come home. You're driving into work, you're thinking, for a year that a lot of stuff didn't happen.
A lot of good things happen, or important things, memorable things.
Yep, and significant in the world of sports, and we wanted to highlight those with only 2 days left of the calendar
Yeah.
year.
And, unfortunately, a lot didn't happen. Who knows what our list might have looked like, what
Yeah.
might have been. And, that's hard, I know, for a lot of the kids and coaches and parents and that to hear. We'll never know, and that's unfortunate, but hopefully we're going to get all these seasons in for these athletes, winter and spring. Not just our high schools, but our college athletes and coaches as well. So
That's right.
it's what they've worked hard for their entire lives, and we want to see that happen for them.
Right. We probably would be talking about a Lenawee Christian three-peat for
Yeah.
state champ, and that would be hard to argue against
Yeah.
number one.
Yeah.
But we didn't have that.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah,
could
real
have
good
a
shot
couple
at
of
it.
football champions too.
Maybe some spring sports champions that we, might have missed. And so, again, 2020 for a lot of people is going to be that year of what might have been.
And I think that's a good Twitter and maybe a Facebook question, John. I know you're a big social
Yeah.
media guy.
I'm gonna
Is,
put that out there. Right
what
now.
was your top sports moment or top 3 Lenawee County sports moment for 2020? And we'll put that up on our.
It's going
social
out there
media
right now
channels.
on Twitter.
All right, awesome. So at 965 The Cave, you can give your input there. We need to take a break. What do we have coming up on the other side?
NFL Top 16,
All right.
our final regular season one.
All right.
Final one of this year, too.
Yeah. A team creeps back into the top 16 for me. Something we can debate for a little bit. We'll be back inside the cave. Ian Wendt and John Roberts. You're rocking Inside the Cave, 96.5 FM, 965thecave.com. Ian Watts, John Roberts. It's the 30th of December in 2020. One more day and we can kick this year right out to the curb with the trash. But right now we're not talking about trash. We're talking about the top half of the NFL. Our NFL top 16. Due to the expanded playoff format, John and I have been ranking the NFL teams 1 through 16. So I want to get things started with some controversy at number 16, and I'll explain why I put them there. The 6-win, 9-loss Dallas Cowboys. Okay, this team has won 3 in a row. Andy Dalton is kind of figuring it out. They have weapons on offense. Their defense is a totally different story. But Washington has opened the door for them. Who's going to quarterback the football team this coming week? We don't know. I don't know. One of these teams has to win this division. And right now, it's slipping away from Washington. I thought the football team would win last week and get things done, but Haskins was terrible. His drama, he's gone, right? Cut by the team. All right, so I'm going to put Dallas at 16. I can't believe I'm doing that because they're a 6-9 football team, but they have a chance to win the NFC least.
And I have a different 6-9 football team at 16. Hanging on by their fingernails is that aforementioned football team. I really debated Dallas or Washington, and Dallas is on a roll. But if Washington wins, they're in. I mean, they win the division, they're in. It doesn't matter what happens in the Cowboys-Giants game. And crazily enough, if the Giants win and the football team loses, the Giants are in the playoffs. And we're not, they're 5-10. They would win the division. So it's a bad division. And someone, I guess, from that division has to be in our top 16 as we get this close to the playoffs. So I have the football team there. If Alex Smith is their quarterback, I think they can beat the Eagles. And they might beat the Eagles without a really good quarterback.
Yeah, they might.
The Eagles aren't very good this year.
No, they're not. But, NFC East team cracking the top 16. Number 15, a team that's, I think, technically in the playoffs right now, winning they're in, the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
They're 8-5. They were the hottest team in football the first 5-6 weeks. Then they sucked, and everyone should have been fired. But now it's like, okay, we know who we are, kind of. We're above 500. If they beat the Packers, they're in. If they lose, a couple other things have to happen. But look, Mitch Trubisky is playing well. The defense has sort of always been there. And Chicago they're on a roll.
Yes, they are one of the hotter teams really in football going into the playoffs. Tough game against Green Bay this week, who Green Bay also has something to play for. So I don't think they'll rest a lot of their starters. And so that's going to be a tough one. If the Bears win, they're in. And is Mitch Trubisky, is he going to make money after this season since they didn't pick up his option and he's a free agent?
Right.
I mean, he's played well. I mean, as good as Mitch Trubisky's played in 4 years, he's played well in the last 4 weeks. So
exactly.
I've got the Bears at 15 also.
All right, number 14, another 8-7 football team. Pat Hayes can't figure them out when he's picking. I don't think any of us can either. The Arizona Cardinals. They're in one of those playoff spots too. What kind of Kyler Murray are we going to get? What kind of discipline on defense are we going to get from Arizona? It's a big shoulder shrug for me, but they're in the playoffs right now, and that's pretty much all I got. I mean, we'll see after week 17, obviously, but right now you have to put them in the top 16.
Yeah, I have them at 14 also, Ian. Just a real inconsistent team, and I suppose part of that is being young, especially at the quarterback position. They got a kind of a make-it-or-break-it game against the Rams this week, and we'll see what happens. They're certainly capable of beating the Rams, especially with Jared Goff out for them. So we'll see. I've got the Cardinals at 14.
And you mentioned Jared Goff and the Rams. A couple bad losses in a row, but they're still 9-6. and they're in the driver's seat for the playoffs. Another, okay, when you're in, lose, other things have to happen. But they're 3 better than 500. Gonna put the Rams there. See how they do without their quarterback, Jared Goff.
And I have the Rams at 13 also. Same,
Wow.
you know. That's we have 5 teams. I looked at your list in the same spot. So I have the Rams at 13. 2 bad losses in a row.
And we're already through number 13. We got the remaining 12 coming up next. Inside the Cave, a sports update coming up right at the top of the hour.